Hello, hello. So I'm starting a little bit early. Okay, so let me post the auction. I haven't posted the auction yet, so let me do that. So we had a person, but they left. Okay, so live stream on Mondays starts at 6. Let me just make sure the auction is live. Not live, but let's see, make sure the auction is posted. Yeah. Go public. Yeah, save. What is this? All right, that's a video. Yeah, we're just waiting for everybody. I'm starting a little bit early. The live stream starts at 6 Eastern time. Hey, Marty's here, first one. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. Hello, hello. First again, yep. And someone was here before you, but they left, and it looks like they came back. I just made the auction, or I just posted the auction. I'm going to be posting it at 6 p.m. from now on. It gives me more time during the day on Monday to finish up because I've been getting into the habit of doing everything at the last minute, and I can't seem to break the habit. Yeah, so let's see. Oh, yeah, we're missing something. We're missing that little light. The pig lamp was not on. Okay, so what else we got? I'll probably install a different backdrop. Oh, you've been waiting for the live stream? Cool. I'm looking at different backdrops. Maybe I'll change this one. But I think I like this backdrop. I was looking at fireplace backdrops and I still can't find one. I could paint this back here to look like a fireplace opening, just, black or something. We'll see. Scott Lauer is here. Hey. How's it going, Scott? So I'm looking at my phone here to see what's going on. Oh, let's see. It looks like I got to block someone on Instagram Messenger again. I've been getting a lot of spam. You finally sent the green point today. Awesome. Okay, so how do I delete this now? There it goes. I get messages on Instagram Messenger or Facebook Messenger, spam messages. So I'm deleting anything spam that I'm getting. That was it. Luckily, only one today. All right, so we're waiting for people. There's only three in the viewership. That's amazingly low for a Monday. But that's okay. Everyone usually shows up in the second hour anyway. It's a 2-hour live stream. The first hour is chat. Second hour is when I start napping. And if you want to know before you leave when I'm going to nap, I'm going to nap two different. Well, do I have two different things? I thought I did. We only have one. I've got some chunks of Horse Creek heat treat. And you don't know what Horse Creek is. It's very colorful, although you can't see it in this light. I'm waiting for my new camera to arrive, and hopefully it'll show colors better and all that. But this is heat treated Horse Creek, which has vivid red color and yellow color. Okay, so if I am successful at napping this, I will offer it in the next auction. This chunk here looks almost like Buffalo River, but it might be Horse Creek. So I got 3 chunks I'll be trying to nap in the second hour. Okay, who else we got? Let's see, Pat, I've been napping primary flakes from the bullhead. I'm catching the colors now from the cortical on the points. Awesome. Good, good. I haven't checked out your work lately. Yeah, I've been slacking off. I haven't looked at anything online lately. Except the stuff that I follow, the news and stuff. I've got to check out more on what's going on YouTube. Yeah. There's some new nappers on YouTube I noticed the other day that I hadn't seen before. So we'll wait for everybody. Well, we'll see. We'll see who else shows up. I'll start talking without interruption starting at 6. Yeah. And if there's no questions, I'll just be reading the chat. And if there's no chat, I'll just be talking by myself to myself, apparently. Not like that's never happened. So, yeah. If you're new, I do these live streams for the community we have on this channel. If you don't know what the community is, there's a community option now on YouTube. You can visit the community. See the community? Now, the live streams are available to the public, but the people from the community, the guys, they're the ones that show up mainly in the chat, and we chat back and forth in real time. Hopefully, it's live without any choppy video or choppy audio. I can actually see myself. I can see myself watching myself. Yeah, isn't that cool? Sometimes it doesn't show up. When I look for myself on the community or on my channel, it doesn't. You don't have to be part of the community to watch the live streams or a member of the channels. I've got members too. It's amazing. I keep checking the members, and it's funny with YouTube. When I try to scroll down, look at all the members, it doesn't let me stay on the picture, or maybe that's Patreon. But anyway, when I scroll down on one of those, either Patreon or YouTube, I can't see the bottom of the list. It keeps going up to the beginning by itself. Let's see. Scott says, there's a guy over here that's building a boat using all abo methods, or probably stone tool methods. He's going to try and take it to Ireland. You mean over the ocean? How far is it? How far of a boat ride is it from the main island over to Ireland? Let's see. Marty says, did you guys watch Jesse Para's video of his rock from Canada? It looked just like bullhead flint. No, I didn't see it. Let's see. I try to click. See, it has a spot for members too on this, but I can't click on that anywhere to show me where all the members are on this particular place. But if I go into my YouTube studio, I can see the members. But it doesn't go to the bottom of the list, doesn't stay at the bottom. So I can't see them all. Something's messed up. YouTube is all glitchy anyway. Scott says, yes, too far. Yeah, it's too far to go by boat, especially if it's handmade. It'll get smashed on the rocks. Yeah, if there's no good beaches for landing. I don't know how the beaches are over there. Let's see. Yeah, bullhead is very rare. Yep. So, okay, so it looks like everything's going good. Let me just check one more time. Yeah, some people are viewing the auction. As far as I know, there's not very many people active today. That's interesting. Not many people active today, and it's not even a holiday. Yeah, it's not even a holiday. So, where are my glasses? So, what are we going to talk about today besides what everyone wants to see? I want to see large pieces. When are you going to do the large pieces again? I'm not going to be doing many large pieces. And when that happens, when I start making small pieces, people say, "You only make small pieces, right? That's all you do is just small pieces." No, that's not all I do. It's all I want to do. But sometimes I do a large piece. Oh, okay. Where is a large piece? When are you going to do another one? So I can tune in. If it's a month from now, I'm not going to tune in. I'm going to unsubscribe and then tune in when you do a large piece. And then I'll subscribe for one video. And then when that's over, I'll unsubscribe. I don't know how they use YouTube. It's a mystery to me how people use YouTube because they don't use it in any way like I do. Okay. I love notifications. I love it when the people I subscribe to post a lot. And whatever they post, I'm curious about what they're posting. I mean, they can post stuff like, I just ruined my tire on a pothole. Yeah, I know I do mainly carving videos, but see my tire, it's all messed up. I'm there. Cool. Wow. I want to see that too. I want to see everything. But some people on YouTube, if I post something a little different than what they like, it's like unsubscribe. Okay. I mean, easy come, easy go, I guess, because you subscribe pretty easy. Or did it take you like 10 views on bunches of my videos and then scratching your head going, okay, can I live with myself if I subscribe to this dude? I mean, if I like something, am I going to be able to live with myself? No, I can't like it because I might not live with myself. Usually, when I watch YouTube, if I click on a video to watch it, I'll hit the like and the subscribe if I'm not already subscribed before I even watch the video. Buckskin NYB says, how are the new boppers working out? They're working out well. I like them. Yeah. They're a little bit pricey, but if you buy a set, it's a good price. So they're working out pretty good. I was very happy this morning, which is rare on Monday. But yeah, I was abusing this one a lot. And I need to get my scale. Hold on. I'm going to weigh these. I'm going to weigh them. And so you guys will know information that you don't need because that's the best kind of information, right? Right. The information that you don't need is the best kind of information because it doesn't make you a better napper. So yeah, it was like, whoa, I want to see that. It's not making me a better napper. And that's what gets me excited. All right. All right. So I'm using a little kitchen scale. You can't see. Even if I brought it up to the, oh, and I'm so stupid, right? Before I had that plastic over the top of that display, I had the shipping plastic or whatever, and I had messed it up before, and I couldn't tell if there was a decimal point in there for the ounces, and there is a decimal point in there for the ounces. And that little scratch was right over the decimal point, and I couldn't tell. Okay, so this one that I use primarily, what is it? Inquiring minds want to know. 5.3 ounces. Because I'm working small stuff right now. Remember. Hey, Gary's here. Hello, peoples. So what do they say? 5.3 ounces? For all you guys that want to know the information that's not going to make you a better napper, it's got a 5.3 ounce on it now. So That'll last about 5 minutes. Anyway, I'll put a more permanent label on these. But I bought a set. I think it was 70 some odd dollars. And with shipping and tax and all that, I think it was 80 some odd dollars. But I bought a set, and I've been abusing these two. So what was the other one? So this first one was 5.3 ounce, and then this one is 3.8 ounce. 3.8 ounce. So I'm just going to call it 5 ounce and 4 ounce, just so I can remember. 5 ounce and 4 ounce, or 5.3 and 3.8. Now, for a lot of people, the point something or other is extremely important, because the more precision, the less decision, I suppose. Okay. Nice solid boppers. Yeah, these are solid copper, but no, they're not lead filled. And I don't know how he attaches these to the plastic. These are Delrin handles, and they've got like a little bit of I don't know. There's lines in it that he must have put in by turn it, and then zzz, he scored in these little. There it is. These little lines. Jesse gave me $10 on the super chat. Hey, J Money Bopper Fund. Oh, awesome. So now, see, they cost me $10 less now. Yeah. Okay, so let me weigh them all. Now that we're waiting for the rest of these knuckleheads to show up. Where are they? Okay, this one, the biggest one, 13.5 ounces. 13.5 ounces. 13.5. All right, and then the other one is 8.3. Oh, I like the 8 ounce. 8 and 9 ounce. I abuse those two. Okay. And then there's a little tiny one. 2.7 ounce. Is that it? Right? There's 5 of them. I think that's it in the set. Why am I doing free advertising? Well, I'm not. I just want to answer this because I get the questions. I'll make fun of you for asking the questions, but I'll tell you the information. So you just got to put up with me before I tell you the information, I guess. 13.5 ounces for the heaviest. It's just the right size, too, I think. Not too big, not too small. 13.5 as far as the grip goes. See, the grips increase in size, too, to match the diameter of the top. Now, I don't know if he has to do it that way, right? Because I suppose he does when he buys the Delrin in different diameters, so I guess it does matter. But it's cool that it's the same diameter. It makes sense to have a thicker handle for the heavier head. And these are solid copper. Okay, 13.5, 8.3, 5.3, which is, I've been using this the most, 3.8, and then 2.7 ounce, just so you know. Okay? Now that you know, your skill level for knapping has just ticked up a level, right? Yes, no? Now you can notch better? No? People having trouble with notching. I need to take another poll and ask them, okay, as far as instructional videos, what do you want to see mostly? What are you having the most trouble with other than everything? Some people say, oh, how can I even begin? I have trouble with things that I don't even know what to ask about yet. Yeah. I ordered them from Flintknappingsupplies.com. Yeah, Flintknappingsupplies.com. That's a good site, right? I mean, Flint Knapping Traditions is Danny Collins' site, which is good also. But I also order from Flintknappingsupplies.com. And I don't know the owner personally. I do know Danny Collins through communications and so forth. He supports the channel. Flintknappingtraditions.com sends me free stuff to demonstrate. So that he's a supporter of the channel. So I'll mention his channel quite a bit. Flintknapping Supplies does not sponsor this channel, but I still like it. Yeah, I still like him. Let's see, where is it? Do I have a quick reference to it so you can see? I don't know what to look for unless I see a picture of the website. Yeah. No? Then why do you want to like what you see before you can understand what you hear? On napping. Flintknapping just happens to be a different ball game in life, apparently. Yeah. Where is it? I don't have it. I don't have it as part of one of my open tabs. I'm slacking. Okay, new tab. Let's see. The reason why I'm doing this is because I want to make sure I'm actually giving you the right name of the website. Because sometimes I'll think that I'm saying it right. I'll know it's in my head as flintknappingsupplies.com, but it might come out as something else, and I won't hear it unless I'm trying to pay attention to both what I'm saying and what I'm listening to, which in my case is difficult. So yeah, it's flintknappingsupplies.com. Yeah. And it's very simple. Flintknappingsupplies.com. There's nothing. And then you start scrolling down and you see a bunch of stuff. And I think the bopper set is here. Yeah, right there. $78. I think it's well worth the investment because you get 5 of them. What's 78 divided by 5? I bet you it's less than $20 each. Yeah, because 5 times 20 is 100. So if you buy each one individually, I think there's like 20. It averages about $20 each if you buy it individually, right? I didn't see any individual ones. Oh, and he's got these too. He's got those that are solid also. And there's a set. No, 1 3/4 inch solid billet. Just one is $60. So that shows you how expensive copper's getting. Let's see. Scott Lauer says, Jesse, Canadian bullhead, ballast in the tail, in the tall ships. That's possible. Jesse says, I just posted on the community page my attempt at a solid copper bopper. Oh, yeah, I saw that. You've got a copper pipe that you inserted the tip into it. That was cool. Yes, I have heard of some of that ballast stone that works good for napping. Yeah, they've got ballast stone all up and down the east coast of the U.S. as well, but some of it is, under ocean water. I'm trying to think, has anyone ever talked a lot about the ballast stones? I think there's some in New England, but it's usually just part of a museum. They have maybe a few chunks, and the rest of it is buried somewhere unknown now. There's too much topsoil all over everything. Tommy Taylor is here. Hello, hello. You made it. Very good. Yeah. So Scott Lauer's here from England, in case no one knows that. I think everyone knows that's in the chat. I like having internationals in the house. It just gives you a different perspective on what they have over there. Materials wise, there seems to be either you have a ton of material, like literally tons of it, or absolutely nothing. And there's hardly any in betweens. Hey, Red Eyed Patriot, Michael's here. Dudes, I have a guy make me a leather pocket knife slips. Or make me leather pocket knife slips. And my newest one is almost done. Tomahawk with feathers on one side and fluted clovis on the other with red and blue thread. It's badass. Sounds interesting. Yeah. And when I'm reading, it's straining for me, not only because it's small letters, but reading in general for me is difficult. So I've watched my live stream videos, and it looks like there's laser beams burning my eyes when I'm trying to do these live streams, but it's just because I'm neurodivergent and I just have sensitivities. So both the light in my face, because these lights are in my face, there's one above and one below. Um, I don't like the light in my face. And then also when I try to read. So if I look like I'm suffering, I am kind of. I looked at my other live streams. I go, man, when I look at myself, I go, wow, what's wrong with, why is he looks like he's so uncomfortable? Like he's just, he just ate a bowl full of lemons or something, or a bowl full of onions. I don't know. I wish it wasn't like that. And I can't control my facial expressions very well. So I can't like pretend it's okay. You know, it's very, even when I open my eyes fully, it's just, anyway, just that short time, a fraction of a second bugs me. Anyways, in case you're wondering, which you're not, it reminds me, my daughter and her husband and my new grandson were watching on Friday, and it's a whole new ball game, I think, and it just affected me a lot. It got me kind of wondering how I should be doing these live streams, because you never know. Some of my kids might be watching. They don't usually watch, so I'm not that embarrassed usually about what I'm going to be saying or doing or acting silly or whatever. But when I know they're going to watch, yeah, it feels funny. Jesse says the solid boppers that go the full length, including the handle, are too balanced. I need weight at the tip only. So that's why I inserted a piece of solid rod into the brass cap, cut it, and just rounded it. Okay, rounded the tip on a bench grinder. All righty. Bushy or Frodo Joe or Harold. He's here. Hello, hello. Yeah, it took me a while to remember everybody's handle attached to their name, attached to their face. I still haven't learned everybody. I mean, yeah, hello. I still haven't learned everybody properly or within a fraction of a second. Sometimes I got to think, okay. So, you guys, if you see Don Reed as an example, his name is actually Gary and not Dawn. Okay. Dawn is his wife's name, or, yeah, I don't think it's his daughter's name. And people are calling him Don. I used to call him Don too in the chat. I don't know if he's here. I don't see him. Let's see. Yeah, he's here. He's the one that asked me about where that order the boppers from. Okay, so that's Gary. Yeah. And I saw Gary at the Flint Ridge nap in, or no. It's coming out wrong. I have it in my head. I just can't say it out without making a mistake. So let me think here. It's at the Letchworth. Yeah. See, I have Letchworth in my brain, and it comes out Coshocton. Yeah. So Frodo Joe knows Gary. And I plan on going to almost every future Letchworth napping. Yeah, it doesn't take me that long to get there. 6.5 hours if I don't stop for too long. Carson Wallace is here. Hello, hello. So we're just chatting. The first hour is just chat. The second hour, I'm going to be napping some Horse Creek heat treat. It's really bright red, right? It should be, hopefully, but you can't see it in this light. I'm waiting for my new camera. I did buy one. I bought one used, so I didn't have to spend as much money. It still costs a bit, a good chunk of change. That means I can't buy as many rocks as I want to down in Texas when I go down there next month. But anyway, doesn't matter. A good camera is going to be good, because then I can have a little bit more freedom as to what I can do because it can change the lighting settings and stuff. I think there's low light capability as well. I can attach a good microphone to it, yada, yada, yada. Yeah, Bushy says Letchworth is beautiful. 700-foot gorge along the Genesee River for 22 miles. Is it 700 or 300 foot? Anyway, I was up on the edge of the gorge looking down into it. And I think my elevation was like 300 feet or something where I was, or 200 feet. But you can see across to the other side where the other walls are. You know, the river had cut a path through these hills, I guess, and then the sides are very steep of the gorge. No, they somebody gave me the distance, or it's on a map. I have the Letchworth Park map. I think it's between 200 and 300 feet on the gorge and almost straight down. And there are cliffs. In Texas, we call those mesas or mesas, where there's flat ground above, and then there's a cliff, and then a river. Right? We don't call it we don't call them gorges. We call them mesas. Well, I guess the mesas up on top. What do we call them? I forget now. I don't know. Anyway, in the Southwest, they used to hunt bison within those, and the sheer cliff walls prevented the bison from escaping, and they would just chase them down to areas that were more and more confined, and then spear them. Yeah, and they couldn't escape, and they would kill dozens at one time. Yeah, they wouldn't. From what I've learned, the buffalo jump thing was not that common. Usually, what they would try to do is they'd chase them into an area that has steep sides on it, and then kill them on the ground below, and don't jump them off the cliffs. You know what I'm saying? They confine them within the small space within the cliffs at the bottom, and then spear them as they were trying to escape, I guess. I know it's good, it's dangerous, but hunting large animals, it usually is pretty dangerous. Gary says, feeding my hounds and chickens. I'll be back in a little bit. Okay. So I already received my super chat for the live stream, so now I can nap without worrying. Nap in peace. Yeah. So I've been asking for one super chat before I start napping. I probably don't have to ask, but just as a reminder, and just in case you're curious, if I have 1,000 views on a video, I get about $3. Well, nowadays it went up to $5 and something because I lost a lot of viewers, right? But the viewers that contribute a lot to the channel are still here. So my revenue hasn't gone down. It's actually gone up per view. So the revenue totals every time I get an AdSense payment is about the same, which was kind of weird. I thought that, if I lose half, my AdSense revenue is going to be half, but no. Let's see. So where am I on the chat? Okay, there's no chat. It's not moving. That's fine. Yeah, if you have questions, you can either wait till after I finish napping. I nap for 45 minutes, starting at the top of the next hour, right? And then the last 15 minutes, I try to catch up with the chat and answer questions. You can wait till then, or you can ask questions now if you do have questions. Like, where do you find your stone? Where is it? Because I need free rocks, and I'm going to travel from one end of the United States to the other, and I'm going to pick up as many free rocks as possible. I just bought a 16-foot trailer, a big old fifth wheel truck, and I got a lot in my savings account for my gas, and I'm gonna go. Now, where are the stones? I think you're number 5,642 as far as people that ask that question that have done that. And I always tell them nowadays every free area that you could possibly visit has been picked clean with a fine tooth comb. So all you find now is flakes, debitage from people that have been there before you for the good stuff. So sorry, even if I knew and told you, you would go there and go, I don't see any. I tried to dig because I saw some formations, but the cops stopped and they said, what are you digging for? Are you burying a body? No. No. Have I been stopped for digging? No, but there was this one time where friends of mine and I'm not going to mention names because I want to protect the innocent, but we were digging for chert on the side of the road in a ditch, it was a man-made ditch from the highway, and then it dipped further down into a natural stream. We were in that natural stream because we could see the line of chert on the side and in the bottom. So we were out there with steel tools, picking at it and digging it up and getting some good quality chert. It was just small pieces, but at least it was nice. It looked like root beer chert. This is in Texas. And we were all happy. We got like 4 or 5 buckets full. And next time I went out there, lo and behold, the city had come and buried all that stretch that we were digging in. They buried the natural stream with a ton of dirt, literally tons of dirt covered all over. They didn't care if it was going to mess it up with the drainage, I guess. They just didn't want us digging there, apparently. And this is out in the middle of nowhere. So somebody must have been at 2,000 yards with binoculars going, okay, who's on that highway? Oh, there's someone on the highway over there digging. I'm going to report it. There was absolutely nobody there. And we could count the cars that came by on 2 hands. It's weird. It's weird. Anyway, so that's why when I tell people, if you go looking for stone on the side of the road, just be prepared to have like 4 eyes on you at all times. 4 sets of eyes on you at all times, no matter where you are. Okay, so if you don't want to be seen, don't be picking up rocks on the side of the road because they're going to be watching. Bushy says Letchworth Gorge is up to 550 feet deep in some sections with heights reaching 600 feet in other points. Oh, dang. Patrick Trousdale says BLM isn't very nice either. That's bad. Bushy says, my buddy told me of a spot on I-88 where he stops sometimes to get some riprap on the side. He says it's really good chert too. Well, that's rare, right? Well, here up in the Northeast, we don't have many nappers. The further south you go, the more nappers you encounter. That's one thing. Yeah. So I need to go check that out because that's probably not that far from me in New York, right? On I-88. I travel I-90, and there was a couple spots where I think I saw some stuff that looked like Onondaga. I don't know. I'm not good at spotting chert up here in the Northeast. Yeah. It all looks nasty to me, but I'm sure I've missed some spots where I could have picked some up. But there's just small pieces. The winters here break up the stones. They're all cracked and stuff. Danny Moore is here. Hey. So, but I'm going to go visit you, Bushy, one of these days. I also called a friend of mine that I grew up with in New Hampshire. I'm going to go visit him too, but he lives in the other direction. But that's okay. I need to go visit everybody. Now that I don't have to be taking care of my dad, that's the first couple years I was here, I was taking care of my father before he passed. And now I live here permanently and I'm free to travel. Bushy says I-88. It's about an hour from me. Okay, so that's not too bad. Interstate 88. I need to look. Yeah. Now, Jay Valente from Wilderness Quest Outdoors, he has sent me and given me a bunch of stuff that he's found that's pretty good. He's even found good chert in Vermont, where I am, which is amazing. I can't find any when I go anywhere, but he knows the spots. And when I find out where the spots are, I'm not gonna tell anybody. Nope. Not because I'm selfish. It's because I don't want someone with a big old truck come by and sweep it all out. So that when next time I go, I'm like, what? The landscape has changed. It's a foreign landscape now. I told them, and I told the public, and now I'm in a foreign land. Where's all the church? Dang it. Yeah, I've seen people change the landscape just looking for rocks. Believe it or not. Let's see. I'm checking my auction. Okay, I'm on my phone. I'm trying to think and check the auction at the same time, and trying not to have dead air on the live stream, because dead air is death. Auction time, and that's where I need to be. Some people also do podcasts on YouTube, but a podcast has no visual. There's no visual, so I don't know how people are interested in it, because if there's no visual, people, at least on this channel, they go, I can't hear anything if I don't see it. I mean, I don't understand what I'm hearing. I gotta like what I see, and I don't understand what I'm hearing. So I don't understand who's watching the podcasts. Not people that watch my channel. Yes, I'm kidding, right? But sometimes it feels that way. Wow, there's bids. There's actual bids on stuff. They're already bidding on stuff. Okay. Awesome. Where is Ralph? Ralph, are you in the chat? You're bidding, but you're not in the chat. All right. So Ralph is bidding. Who else is bidding? Ralph is bidding on everything. I only got 6 items, but still. Let me see. Who's your lithic hound is bidding on everything too. Yes. No one's bidding on the KRF? Oh, yeah, they are. Knife River Flint. I got them on this one. I got a little box of Knife River Flint on this auction. I don't think Who's Your Lithic Hound can see everything, because he's bidding lower than the previous bid. Yeah, unless he's missing a 0, which I doubt it. Yeah, not going to bid that much. Right. So excuse me while I'm checking the auction. Wait, you have an auction? Yeah, it's an auction, but it's not a live auction. I just post a video, put the items in the comments that you bid on. You reply to that, and at 9:00 I declare the winners. Sometimes it's really easy to see who the winner is. Sometimes it's really, really difficult because people bid at the last minute, which is fine. It just makes it difficult to see who won, because sometimes YouTube's time tracker is a little bit glitchy. Anyway, if you have trouble bidding, just look for a like on your bid. If you think that I'm not seeing it, look to see if I have a like. If you have a like on your bid, if you do have a like on your bid, that means I see it, because I'll hit the like button. Sometimes you might have more than one like. That means someone else likes your bid too. But yeah, if I see your bid, I'll put a like. I'll hit the like on your bid. That way you know that I'm seeing it. That's important, because I've had situations where people will bid, but for some reason YouTube It's glitchy, and other people can't see their bids, their comments, their bids, or replies. Same thing. Okay, I had one person. I'm going to say this over and over again. Because I think it's so weird. One person, not that they are weird. Okay, they were fine. It's just weird that some people, if it doesn't match exactly the wording that I describe it as, like if I say your comment is your bid, but all they see is a button that says reply, they say, oh, that's not it. Where does it say that? Where's the button that says comment or bid? And they'll skip by where it says reply. Where is it? It's the same thing. You hit the reply, and it's also the comment. It's also your bid, right? I think it says, yeah, it's reply in YouTube's case. Yeah, it's the reply section, but it's also the comment section. See, what's weird is some people get messed up. See, it says comments, but it also says reply. Which one is it? Is it a comment section or a reply section? I don't get it. And where does it say bids? I'm using YouTube in a way that wasn't really designed to be used. Okay, I'm doing the auction in the comment section, so that's why you don't see a button for bids. All right. I'm glad we cleared that up. No, you didn't clear it up. You just made fun of me. You think that clearing it up is making fun of people and be condescending and being a little a-hole. That's what you think. I've had people comment that before. Oh, well, I can't help it. That's just my personality. And I hope my kids aren't watching because they go, yeah. Mm-hmm. Dad, you're right about that. Send. And but none of them have shown up to bid for any items. I don't know their YouTube handles anyway, so they might be like lurking under different names. Then I don't know who they are, and they might be. Some of them might have even trolled me. Who knows? I have 6 children, right? But I can pretty much guarantee they don't go anywhere near my content on YouTube or Instagram. Well, not Instagram because they have seen my stuff there. But as far as YouTube stuff, I don't think very many have browsed my content. They say stuff like, Dad, it's weird. We don't watch it because it's so weird. They're used to me being a dad and getting upset and stuff. They're not used to me goofing around. I think that's what it is. Who knows? I'm enjoying it. I like these live streams. I like the channel, doing videos on the channel too. I just get a little burned out sometimes. So I'm starting some other channels so I can get this, break up the monotony. Yeah. Yes. What am I doing? I might as well tell you on the live stream because there's no format for the live stream. I just bought some cool stuff. Yeah. Should I show you? What kind of stuff? What kind of stuff, dude? I thought you're only a flint napper and maybe archery because you hardly ever show it. I want to see more archery. Let's do the archery first, right? I brought my longbow to show and tell in case this happened where there's not much chat. I have a longbow made of juniper. It's the old style English longbow style. It's got one notch. See that? It doesn't have the horn nocks. It's got that one notch there. And it's got this fortuitous little branch sticking out here so the string doesn't go past that. That was lucky, right? I kind of did build it so that would have that little branch right there. Anyway, it's a hemp string. It's about 6 feet long, right? And the other end is I think it's a single notch as well. Yeah. So before they started making these with horn nocks, I think they just did that single. Anyway, it's 70 pounds. This is what I used to practice to build up strength before hunting season. But I should have been practicing with this months ago. But I wasn't planning on going hunting when I go to Texas in next month, but I got invited, and I said, no, I can't pass it up, right? So I'm going to go. But now I got to practice. So this is what I use to build up my strength before hunting season. It's a 70-pound bow. I think I might have mentioned that. Juniper. Now you can make those out of yew like they used to back in the day, but juniper also works. It's not as strong as yew. So if with this diameter, a yew bow is going to be higher than 70 pounds in draw weight, but juniper is more springy, kind of weaker than yew. So it's only 70 pounds. Okay. Anyway, that's the show and tell for that. And the other thing I got in the mail was Dungeons and Dragons stuff. I bought a new set because there's a new 5th edition or something, right? Is that what this is? Does it say 5th edition? It should say somewhere. Why did I get this? Because that's one of my other hobbies. In case you didn't notice, my other channel's name is Allergic Hobbit. There's a reason why I chose the word Hobbit. I'm into Lord of the Rings and Dungeons and Dragons and stuff, right? So, one of my other channels is going to be Dungeons and Dragons heavy as far as content. Okay? It's not going to be only that. It's going to be, you'll see, but it's going to have Dungeons and Dragons references and fantasy art and stuff like that eventually. Yeah. So I got excited about that. So when I have a distraction and I start participating in my other hobbies, I don't get so burnt out on just one thing like Flintknapping, although I like Flintknapping. What do we got here? We got some more chat. Keefers, I just remembered there's a live stream tonight, so I'm late, but dinner's ready. Hello, everybody. And Pat, the latest naps you did are great in explaining some issues I was having. Thank you. Oh, you're very welcome. I'm glad they help. Danny Moore says, going camping in an old limestone quarry in a couple of weeks, hoping to find something to bring home. Yeah, hopefully. Tommy says, Ralph going strong on the green jasper in the auction. I see. Yeah, I saw that. Mike Tufts is here. Hello, hello. Patrick Trousdale says, I played Diablo mostly. Diablo 4. Danny Moore says, I like dragon fruit. That's funny. Yeah, I played Dungeons and Dragons in high school. How many years ago is that? I started when I was 15. I'm 62. That's almost 50 years ago, 47 years ago. Holy moly. And I'm going to get back into it. Yeah, I'm going to get back. Am I going to have players? I don't know. I might. The friend of mine that I grew up with, he used to play also. I don't know. Maybe we'll get back into it. I doubt it, but I just need to read up on the rules so that I can be familiar with it again, and maybe start writing some stuff. I enjoy writing, even though it is difficult for me to do. What do you write in the game? You can write scenarios, you can invent cultures and monsters and make maps and do artwork and all kinds of good stuff. Do research on how kingdoms work and how stuff works in a fantasy world and stuff. It's just interesting. You can be as creative as you want. It's a creative outlet. So that's why I like it. Is that what a dungeon master does? Yeah, Danny Moore asks. Yeah, I used to be a dungeon master. I was doing that for like 3 or 4 years. As a dungeon master for 3 or 4 years. Yeah. And that's the person responsible for setting up the scenarios for the players. So that you have to kind of do the homework before you play the game. You got to do the setting up the scenarios and the challenges and the quests and all that for the players. And then you sit down and play. And you can either play by just technical play with just the rules and you fight, but it's kind of all up here going on all up here, or you can kind of act out your characters, and people even go as far as wearing costumes and changing their voices and acting like characters, right? I've never gone that far. Most of what I was doing was being very technical about how the characters were going to play in the game and advance in levels. It's like a live action video game almost, right? But you play with dice instead of with a little controller. You encounter monsters, you play with dice to roll to see if you actually do damage on these monsters and stuff, right? Instead of using the controller to do whatever. And it's interacting with other people. You've got to have at least 3 people, I think, to have fun playing these games. And you can also use tabletop miniatures and set up little buildings, set up little dioramas, and play on a tabletop with a bunch of little figurines. You can even have battles with larger armies and stuff with supplemental rules that allow you to scale up. Instead of, let's say you need to go find a dragon and its treasure or whatever, you can fight the dragon in small scale, right? With little dragon figurine and little characters. Or scale up and you can have your characters participate in battles with lots more miniatures. That sort of thing. So it's just a creative outlet that's fun. So, yeah. And you'll notice when I created the Sev or 70 character, the CGI or AI character, one of her incarnations is as an elf with pointy ears. That's where that comes from. It comes from my background in Dungeons and Dragons and Lord of the Rings and stuff. Merry Christmas, everybody, says Alan Cole. Yeah, Christmas tree. I'm keeping it up all year. I don't have it plugged in all year, but I'm keeping it up because I don't want to put it away in storage. I was the one that, with the kids, put away the Christmas tree, took it out, put it away, took it out. It's such a hassle to put it away and take it out. So I'm just leaving it up. Yeah. If I had my way with the kids, they would stay up all year also. But they said, no, Dad, take it down. Put it away. It's not a big deal. We'll help you do it. Yeah, okay. So, yeah. I like it permanently right there. I don't have it turned on, but I like the green here in my office. I'm in my office, right? Doing everything in here now. Filming, napping, writing, checking things out on the internet, doing research. I try to do research. I get distracted though. Let's see. Let's see here. Danny says, I had you figured for a hobbit more than an elf. Yeah. Well, I have a channel called Allergic Hobbit. So, yeah, I consider myself an allergic hobbit. That's my Indian name. What is it? You have an Indian name? Yeah. Allergic Hobbit. Instead of, flies with eagles, my Indian name is Allergic Hobbit. Yeah. Let's see. Gary says, we now know why you're addicted to rocks. Yeah. Maybe so. But no, I practiced archery for a long time. And I never really hunt with archery very much. I do like bow fishing though, but I'm trying to get into actual hunting with archery. And luckily I have some friends that will invite me. So they invited me this year. Yes. Last year I shot, or the year before? I think the year before I shot a deer with a crossbow for the first time. That was cool. Yeah. This time I'm going to try If I'm good enough or confident enough, I'll bring my bow and my arrows, and I'll try to shoot a deer with an arrow from a bow. But if not, I'll just use the crossbow. So easy. Ralph is here. How do you all do? We saw you, Ralph, bidding in the auction. We've been talking about you behind your back. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Auction time. I'm gonna check the auction. Hold on. All right, I'm gonna check it. See how much Ralph is planning on spending. I see. Did you like that wrapped knife? I'm surprised that the wrapped knife is generating interest because a couple years ago they weren't generating that much interest. So I should start making more of those. Let's see. Light green Imperial Jasper art point. You're bidding on all this stuff. Mexican green Imperial Jasper is some awesome stuff, but today I was trying to notch it. I leave the notching a lot of times for the last minute. I'll shape the point up until the stage where I notch it, and I'll put it aside, and I'll notch it on Monday. Today, it's like I forgot how to notch, and I had a hard time notching. So Ralph, you've been on everything. Dang. Keith Ricketts was bidding too. On a box of bifaces. Okay, I see where you're all bidding. Yeah, the thing that has the most bids right now is the light green Imperial Jasper art point. Interesting. I can't get much of that Mexican green Imperial Jasper, but it's really nice to nap, and it's a very interesting material. It's like it's from another planet. It's so good. The color combined with the nappability brings it up to about a 9 or 10 on a scale of 1 to 10. I was having trouble notching though, but I think it was me today and not the material. Yeah. Anyway, you missed I was discussing some of my other hobby stuff that I'm doing. And I'm working on other channels. I got at least 2 other channels in the works. So I've got this channel, Jack Rafty. I've got Allergic Hobbit. I did my PAB philosophy, so that's 3. Although I haven't posted on Allergic Hobbit or the philosophy channel. And then I put Sev or 70 on her own channel. And then I've got another one I'm working on it's going to have this Dungeons and Dragons stuff. And then perhaps another one. It depends on how it goes. Sometimes I can't cram a lot of different topics into one channel. They need to be separated or I lose subscribers. Yeah, they've got to be pretty well compartmentalized and not deviate too much from the main theme or I lose subscribers. Anyways, Ross Wellman is here. Hey, almost in time for the napping. I'm going to start napping in 5 minutes. I'll be napping some Horse Creek heat treat. Yeah. And I'm filming off my computer's camera. So it's not as good as my phone camera, but it still works, I suppose. For some reason, I cannot get my camera to talk to YouTube anymore. My phone camera phone. It won't. I can't get it to talk to YouTube anymore. I looked around and something happened either on YouTube or with my phone. Now I can't do live stuff from my phone. So I bought a camera. I should be able to just plug that into the computer and use it. And then I can adjust the settings and stuff and get better at doing the lighting. Because right now I've tried everything with the lighting and it doesn't work all that great. You know, I've watched the YouTube videos that describe how to make professional videos, and I'd set up lights and all that kind of stuff. And I've got a light stand with a diffuser and stuff, and I got background things, and I still look like I'm in an interrogation chamber or something, or one of those hospital rooms, or I don't know. It just looks too artificial. Reinstall YouTube on your phone, says Patrick. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Let's see. Jesse says, sorry, we had an outage. Lost the internet and cable for a bit. Well, then you're back just in time. Yeah, for the next hour. Well, I'm going to be starting to nap in the next few minutes. I should start getting ready. Yeah, start getting ready already. So, let me see. Put on my good luck apron. Yeah, can't nap without that. And I'll be napping mostly small stuff. I've showed the new set of boppers that I got from Flintknapping I'm excited about the new set. And these are not lead filled, they're solid copper, mounted to Delrin rods. Very similar to high impact plastic or high molecular weight plastic, but it's more flexible than the ultra high molecular weight plastic of this. This is ultra high molecular weight plastic. But, I could also use this as a mallet. It'll work. But I prefer to use this. This is like 6 ounces. Let me not guess. Let's weigh this again just to make sure. I think it's 6 point something ounces. I don't know. The decimal point is extremely important. Yeah, I know. 6.5 ounces. Okay. 9 inches long. 1.25 inches diameter. It's very important. Now that you know that, you increase 2 levels in your napping skill. Yeah. Without practicing, without doing the same thing over and over again to get different results. Let the magic begin, says Gary. Yeah. All right, so let's aim the camera down into the business area where we get down to business. Okay? Here we go. This is the heat treat Horse Creek. Okay? Horse Creek shirt. Where did I get it? I had very generous friends. Scott gave me a bunch of chunks like this. So I've got 3 chunks out of about 30 chunks, very similar to this. Should I start with the easy peasy or should I start with the difficult misery? Easy peasy or difficult misery? Difficult misery, probably. Let's try this one. Everyone wants me to suffer. Yep, that's entertainment, man. I like seeing suffering. It's real. Yeah. Gritty. It's gritty and real. Yeah. The more you suffer, more I like it. Okay. Are we seeing? I think the camera is going to capture this without being blurry. As far as motion blurriness, I'm trying to make sure the lighting is okay. It can't be too intense. I've got a filter on one, so it's not as bright. See, this one's got a little bit of a shade or a filter on it, or diffuser. Let's get them both working and see if that works. All right. Ralph says, hit the like button. Yeah, everybody, hit the like button. Even if you don't like it, it reflects well on you. Yeah, you're a good person. If you don't like it, but you still hit the like button, you're an excellent person. There you go. Oh, yes. I think this particular piece is Buffalo River, so I wanted to nap Horse Creek. Come on. It feels like it did something. Yes, it did. What did it do? Oh, it scooped it in a weird way. Look at that. It scooped it in this weird way. Can you see? So I hit it there. No, I hit it on this side. Yeah, I hit it on this side. It broke like it should, but then it came back out. What happened? Yeah. Anyway, it's two good pieces. But this is Buffalo River. Dude, make sure you get the lighting right. Okay, I got a third light up here. So does that help? I think that helps a little bit. Yeah. So this I'm going to put this aside, even though I could probably start napping these. I'll put this aside because this is Buffalo River. Yeah, I get it confused with the Horse Creek. So the next most miserable piece is this one here. Okay. And yeah, I like napping miserable pieces. That's my forte. Yeah. Some people used to tell me, dude, just get good stuff so we can see something good being made. Because all I see is that there's stuff that you have trouble with. You get fussy. You keep whining. Nap good stuff. So yeah, I've bought and I've received as gifts some exotic, nice material. Okay, I will nap that on video. Okay, I won't nap only the crap. Although that's my forte. I nap the crap at nap-ins and on video. But I do have some good stuff now. Okay, so you don't need to fuss anymore. That I fuss. I'll try not to fuss on video. Can't guarantee what's going to happen on the live stream though, because anything can happen. Yeah, you might not like it. If you don't like it, if you don't have a sense of humor, you're not going to like it. Probably. No, I just wait for the napping and I turn the volume off. Yeah, but I still don't like it that much because I can't hear anything. I need to hear what I like so my eyes will work. I will endlessly make fun of that because some people are like that. Yeah. But there's so few of those people that I hope I'm not offending too many people. Yeah. So what is it? What am I doing? I'm trying to get rid of what's not nappable. Sometimes that lighter color stuff is not nappable. So I got to get rid of that a lot of times. But the first thing is to get the curve out if there was one, and the next is to thin the ends down. But I just did the low-hanging fruit of eliminating stuff that I thought was weak, like the stuff on this side where it's lighter color that looks weak and crumbly. So, all right, what do we got in the chat? Okay, so you guys are talking to each other. Very good. Mm-hmm. Let me see here. Oh, okay. So there's not much chat. That's okay. Yeah, I'm not going to be paying attention. I'm not going to be paying attention to the chat very much. All right. So now I'm going to switch over. Instead of using the 5.3 ounce, I'm going to use the 3.8 ounce, the next smallest one. Yeah. To see if I can quickly reduce this down to a nice little biface. It seems like I'm knocking off flakes, but it sounds like I knocked off a flake, but it didn't. There it did. Yeah, these I can swing these instead of the solid ones. I didn't bring my solid ones. I'm also using solid copper billets that are just sections of rods, very thick diameter rods of copper, solid copper. But in this case, I'm going to be using these swingable solid copper bopper thingers. Okay. The swinging is very nice because it does a lot of the work for you without a lot of strain. See, that sounded like I knocked the flake off, but it didn't. So it has to do with the sound of the bopper is a little bit different than a sound of a lead-filled bopper. Sound of a solid copper sounds a little bit different than a lead-filled. Is that what it is? I don't know. It does sound different. Anyways, it sounds more crisp, and it sounds like it cracks that flake off, but it's not actually cracking the flake off. Does that make sense? Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I can't hit this too hard. I'm afraid to hit it from the base. Okay, come on. All right, so what do I talk about while I nap? I don't want to be describing everything that I'm doing because it kind of distracts me and messes me up. If I have to explain it, it messes me up a little bit. I'll explain it on the instructional videos. How's that? On the tutorial videos. I'll explain everything that I do. Here, I'll explain it if it's not too complicated. If it's really complicated, I just let my subconscious do its thing, because the human brain over time, over millions of years, has adapted to taking over the complex stuff. It does that subconsciously. So you don't have to think about it. And yeah, you can do amazing things when you have a part of your brain that takes over the complicated stuff. Yeah. Amazing. The human brain is amazing if you use it right. I notice social media is not a big help in using your brain correctly. I'm dropping these because I'm not used to the wait forward. I'll get adapted to it here soon enough, so I won't be dropping it like Mr. Butterfingers every 5 minutes. So I've got it to the point where this is a indirect percussion biface. The next stage is to do the indirect percussion on it. Yeah, because the accuracy is not as great with the direct percussion, even with those finely made, high-tech, modern tool. It's still not as accurate as indirect percussion. Where did I learn to use the indirect percussion this way behind my knee? I invented it, the behind the knee thing. Yeah, in case you didn't know. So don't give me no lip. It was really odd in the beginning. Yeah. People thought it was really odd when they saw it. I'd never seen someone nap that way before. Where'd you get that from? Where'd you learn it? I didn't learn it. I taught it to myself. Yeah. And it ended up catching on. So it's working pretty good. It's no longer odd. It's like a thing now. Yeah. Which is cool. It's cool to see the transition in different techniques over time and new techniques over time and new gadgets and stuff. If you go to a nap-in, you get to see all the gadgets and talk to all the people that use different techniques. The Coshocton nap-in was huge. That's the largest nap-in I've ever been to. So if you want to go to a nap-in that's got everything, go to the Coshocton nap-in in Ohio. I think there's two of them. There's one in the spring and fall. I'm going to go to the one in the spring, check that out, and then go to the one in the fall again next year. Yeah, it was awesome. It's in Ohio. Yeah. And I'm going to go to Letchworth Knappings also. Now, Letchworth wasn't as big as far as people there, but it's close, relatively speaking, to where I live now. So I'm excited about that. When I'm there, I'm usually napping the whole time. I don't chit chat too much. But I still like going to Knappings. I'm not a chatterbox on a napping or in person. I'm pretty dull. Yeah, you're not going to be impressed when you meet me in person because I don't do a lot of chit chat. I'm not that impressive. I'm usually napping some stone that's really cruddy, so it looks like I don't know what I'm doing. So just fair warning: if you see me at a nap-in, you're not going to be impressed. Nope. Mm-hmm. Why do I nap cruddy stone at the nap-ins? Because people want to see. Can you do anything with it? And I don't mean to make fun of you. I do a different voice, kind of silly. Yeah, I'll try it. And sometimes it's not too bad, but sometimes the stone is really bad. Yeah, but I'll try it. Some poor guys, they start out with a stone that looks good, but it doesn't nap worth a thing. It doesn't nap at all. Worth a damn, right? It doesn't nap at all. And they're surprised because they say, well, I thought this is what everyone was using on their videos. And they just make it look so easy. Yeah, they're not napping it. They're not napping this on the videos. I guarantee. Really? Such a relief. Yeah. But you won't know that unless you go to a nap-in and ask an experienced napper to nap it for you and see what it's like. You know, not all of them will do it because they're working on something else. You don't want to disturb them. But if you ask me to nap something for you, I'll do it to check it out. See if it's the stone or if it's you that's not working. And I'll tell you, I'll be honest. Yeah. I'll go, yeah, this stone is pretty good. If you're having trouble, then you need to, keep doing the same thing over and over again until you get a different result. And no, it's not insanity. It's called practice. You need to practice more. So, how's this looking so far? I don't know. Can you see? I'm having some difficulty getting through this area here, but I want to keep some of that lighter material if I can. It's just cool to have a contrast. But it's getting crunchy. It's not as good a heat treat as I thought. It's not bright red either. So it might be this piece might be raw actually. I'm thinking that this might be a raw piece and not a heat treat. What about the other piece? Let's see if this is a heat treat. Usually with a heat treat, it's more glossy and darker in color. The colors get richer, darker, and it gets more glossy. Let me check. I think this one does have a glossy texture. Hold on. Don't know for sure. Oh, yeah, this is a little more glossy. Got to get this lighting situation fixed. See, you can't see it, right? But it has a little bit more of a shine to it. So this might be the actual heat treat, and this might be just raw. Yeah. How do they compare? Misery, luxury. Misery, luxury. No, dude, be more exact, precise, and scientifical. I want exact precision. I want to know. Not knowing makes me feel like I want to die. Luxury, misery. That's all you get. Okay, sorry. Unsubscribe, unsubscribe. I hate that dude. Every time I go to his channel, I think maybe he's going to reform himself. Nope. I hate that dude. Are you still here? You need to leave quickly. Don't just leave. Leave quickly. I want to see, the little puff of smoke, like they do on the Roadrunner. There's a little puff of smoke before you take off. I want to see that little puff of smoke before you take off. That means you took off very fast. Yeah. Or a puff of dust. It's not smoke, right? It's just a dust that you've been accumulating on yourself over the years. I want to see a little puff of dust when you leave. Yeah. So should I nap this luxury piece instead of the misery piece? Well, let's do a little bit more on the misery. And I do think this is probably raw. Yeah, because it's really crunchy. This doesn't happen usually when I nap the heat treat, although it does sometimes. Not all heat treat ends up being nice. Some of it remains dull, but I don't know. Horse Creek, I'm not all that familiar with the differences in the different levels of heat treat. It's not all the same. You can lightly heat treat, regular heat treat, or heavy heat treat. Right? I don't know if that's the normal distinctions and how they talk about heat treats. I'm trying to think here. Anyway, there's differences in depending on how much heat you use, what temperature you heat it to, and how sometimes it depends or it affects it by how long you leave it in the heat treat or in the heat at a certain temperature. Sometimes there's a difference between leaving it in there for 2 hours versus 12 hours. Yeah. On most stone, as long as the whole stone reaches the same temperature, it only needs an hour or two. That's it. You don't need to be soaking it in heat for 12 hours. When they do scientific experiments on this kind of stuff, they've noticed that it only takes 1 hour to achieve an effect. 2 hours to be safe, but 1 hour you achieve the heat alteration. Right? What's it called? They have a special name, these researchers. Thermal alteration occurs at approximately 1 hour on flakes. Thermal alteration is achieved sufficiently after 1 hour. But you can leave it in for 2 hours, 3 hours. 12 hours, maybe even longer than 12, I've heard in some cases. And they say, oh, yeah, it makes a difference. So you leave it in there. You soak it for 12 hours. It's going to be sweet. Okay, well, I believe you. Yeah. Stone is weird. Yes. You never know. Weird in its unpredictability. You would think that it's not going to be all that unpredictable, but yeah, it can be. It can vary widely. Right? Some stones will heat or they'll become thermally altered. Okay, they'll become thermally altered at 1 hour. Some require longer. You have to experiment with your own stuff. Just because I say that it worked at a certain temperature for me doesn't mean it'll work at that temperature for you, because you got a different batch of stone. Even if we went to the same spot and we parted ways and you heated yours at the same temperature I heated mine, we may get different result, even though we were hunting in the same spot and we got the same stone. Even if we tried to control it to such an extent that we take the same nodule, break it up into flakes, and you get half the flakes, I get half the flakes. Let's go heat treat it separately. It should be the same result at same temperatures, right? No. Sometimes one batch will break all up, and sometimes that other batch is nice. Same temperatures. Why? I have no idea. Pieces vary. Like by coincidence, which usually happens to me, I get bad luck coincidences. The other guy got a bunch of wet stone because part of the stone was in the water, let's say, or in the ground, and he ended up getting most of the pieces that were wet. And he took it home and he treated just when I took mine home, and I had the top of the stone as an example that was dry, and we got different results. Yeah, just by coincidence. He got all the wet pieces and I got all the dry pieces. What happened? You're not telling me the truth, dude, because I did exactly what you did and I didn't get the same result. So you lied. You lied. They might think that. They might not say it. No, they'll be like, yeah, I understand there's differences. But in the back of their mind, they might go, I think he lied. He's lying. I think his stuff broke up, but he doesn't want to ruin his reputation by letting it out that he ruined his stuff. Get all suspicious. You never know. Yeah, I've been around long enough that I heard it all. Almost. I won't say all because I know that once I say that, I'm going to hear something really bad. And I'm going to say, oh, man, I thought I heard it all. But when this guy started talking about that, it freaked me out, man. Yeah. Has that happened before? Oh, yes. I've heard guys that they get like 10 buckets of stone. They go home, and the next day, it's like 10 buckets of flakes. And I say, you napped 10 buckets of stone in one day? Yeah, I just got up at 8 a.m. and went to sleep at 9 p.m. and I napped all day. 10 buckets was nothing. Holy moly. If I do one bucket of flakes, I got to take a break. I can't nap all day. Of course, it's usually bifacing and, spalling. But no, I can't sit there all day and nap all day. It drives me nuts. Some guys like, well, I'll just get warmed up. That's just bifaces. I got 4 more days of making a bunch of knife blades. I'm gonna make knife blades out of 10 buckets. It's only gonna take me a week. So, what? Yeah, no problem at all. I don't get tired. I don't get tired either. Yeah, what's the problem? Nothing. Yep, I can do that too. Sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm thinking to myself, dang it. Why did I have to get the brain that can't handle that stuff? Why? Why me? It's not fair. Now, is it true about the 10 buckets? I might be exaggerating somewhat, but I do know guys, especially the rock sellers, they can nap dozens and dozens of bifaces, and it's not a big deal. Yeah, their back hurts a little bit. Yeah, they get sore the next day. Yeah, maybe their eyes get tired, but it's like, all right. Next. No big deal. Where's my next 10 buckets? Now I got to go get it. Yeah, just drive 12 hours straight, pick up the buckets, come back at 3 in the morning and nap a bunch of buckets and go sleep at 6. Get up around noon. All right, let's make a ton of biface knives. I mean, come on. I wish. All right, so that's what I got on the raw piece. It looks like it's a raw piece of Horse Creek. All right, so as I was yapping about whatever I was yapping about, I just thinned down the thick spots. Now let's go to the luxury piece. Yeah, this should be nice. Okay, it's a little bit curved and wonky. It's got that dip in the middle. But I'm just going to nap around the edges a little bit first, take care of the ends, make sure the ends are thinned down. And you'll be able to see, hopefully, the process. I don't want to explain every little thing. I will explain things in depth on my tutorial videos, which I will make more of those. Oh, yes. And I'll make no talk videos. Primarily no talks, because I can do those without getting burnt out. I get a little bit burnt out on it, trying to explain everything. Yeah. It's only so much you can explain when your brain takes over the hard parts. How do you explain what the brain takes over? It's very difficult. You've got to actually try to learn that again in order to explain what's going on from that perspective. It's almost like learning it over again every time you try to explain it, because you got to rehash. What did I used to do in the beginning, so I can kind of relate to a beginner's perspective? That stuff is so far back in my brain nowadays that to dredge it up again brings flashbacks of the days where I thought it was me. I was all mad at myself for days. I thought that I was mentally handicapped and that humanity has declined because they even made beautiful points in the past, and I can't even do it with modern tools. And I'm miserable. Why did I choose Flintknapping? Why? Why Flintknapping? Yeah, the stones sometimes are free, but dang it. Doesn't do me any good if they all get broken up into gravel. Yeah, we all go through that. Mm-hmm. Yep. If you want to not waste money and time, just, you start with glass. People get burnt out on glass pretty fast. Yeah, I noticed that. New nappers, they'll get burnt out on glass pretty soon because they say, I want to do spalling. I want some big nodules so I can spall, because spalling looks so awesome. Yeah, I want to have awesomeness in my life. Mm-hmm. So I thinned down the ends a little bit. I'm starting to take out or take off more mass on either side of that dip. So I'm running flakes across. I've ran a couple of flakes into that area, not too much, but I'm going to be starting to run flakes now across the surface more to get it flatter. I leave it intentionally very thick in the middle so I don't snap this in half in the beginning. And I also take shortcuts, and not all the flaking is perfect, and not all the edge work is good. And people make fun sometimes of the way I am spastically napping around, and they say, don't move it around so much. I can't tell what you're doing. I'm getting dizzy. It's dizzy. It's making me dizzy. I know. I can't help it. It's the way I nap. It doesn't make me dizzy. If I don't do it that way, it's the opposite. I get dizzy if I don't do it that way. Yeah. I look for opportunities. And sometimes I look around really quick because I don't want to be spending all day looking for opportunities and second guessing myself, saying, "Well, is that good? Is this better than that? Because I want to do a better one than that. Maybe that's better. Let's do that. Wait a second. There's even a better one here. Oh, yeah. Wait, is that in line with the overall goal? I mean, this thinning the ends first, right? Yeah, that meets that goal. Is there a higher goal than thinning the ends right now? Maybe I should look for cracks. Yeah, cracks would be better to check for. Yeah. I mean, to do it that way would drive me totally insane. It's starting to bug me already. I don't do it that way. I just look for low-hanging fruit mostly, and whatever seems to be easiest at the time. And sometimes I break my own rules and I don't thin the ends down first, and I'll snap something in half. Yeah. Dang it! I didn't leave the center thick enough, and I snapped it. Or I didn't grind that enough, and I crushed it. Now what do I do? I wanted to preserve that because it's colorful right there. Dang it. Start whimpering. Yeah, we all go through stuff like that. But you don't want to see that on video. Right? So once in a while, I'll explain it and I'll go more slowly, and I'll in my mind I'll actually be more careful on the video than I am when I'm napping by myself. Sometimes I'm more careful when I'm napping by myself than I am on the videos. But usually I'm trying to be expedient and not get bogged down in little details. Yeah. Until the very end. And then I start being picky. So at this stage, I ran some flakes across to get rid of some of the really thick areas and get it, whittled down. But this is where the mindset changes, because the next phase is the secondary thinning. See, I've already gone through the bifacing, preliminary biface. I've already gone through the bifacing and the preliminary thinning. Now the secondary thinning is a different mindset. I'm going to try for mostly long flakes that go past the center in this stage. Right? I've already started. That one went past the center there, and there's some other ones. But I haven't done much on this side that has a dip, but I will start running long flakes there. I already started with a long flake across here, so you can see what I'm talking about. I'm going to be doing a lot more of these now to get it thin in the secondary thinning phase. All right, so normally on a regular instructional video, I'll clear this stuff out. Some people ask me, well, why do you clear this stuff out? Other nappers have big piles of flakes. What are you, some sort of nitpickety neat freak? No, the main reason is if I drop this and it lands on a flake, even something like this, and there's a hard floor underneath that, it might break the tip off. Now, if there's a big mound of flakes, believe it or not, it's actually cushioning if it falls on a big mound of flakes. Yeah. So, but if it's just a hard floor like I've got here, see, it's a hard floor. It's not concrete, but it's still hard enough to where a flake like this, if it lands on it, it'll snap the tip off. And with my luck, it lands tip first. So that's why I tend to clear it away. And the same thing in my shop back there. The floor is hard enough to where if it lands on a flake, it'll break. Anyways, and it also helps to make a good transition in the brain. Take a little rest, a little pause, so that you can be more effective in the next stage. I think. Let's see what's going on in the chat. I'm taking a break personally here before I go on to the thinning. I still got about 15 more minutes to nap, maybe a little bit less. Yeah, there's not many people today. I guess there's something going on. National Go to Walmart Day or something. Everyone's at Walmart. Let's see. No, I don't see too much going on in the chat. You guys are talking to each other, which is good. Um, let's see. Let's see here. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, so next stage is the secondary thinning. Yeah, to get it to where all I need to do is sharpen it and put notches. Okay, so let me grind it, braid it, and go to the next stage. Where is my other abrader? I only have this one now. I got my files, but the new files that I ordered, the bigger ones, they didn't work. They worked maybe for 2 or 3 points, but the diamond coating rubbed off right away. These little ones that work better, the ones that are from Harbor Freight, actually work better than the other ones that I bought, the bigger ones. So I already trashed the other ones. Yeah, they didn't last. These ones from Harbor Freight lasted longer than those other ones. That's amazing. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to go to the smaller diameter rod. I was using the 3/8. Now I'm using the 5/16. Oops. Some guys can tell the diameter just by looking at it, but many people can't. That's why I mentioned the sizes. All right. So let's see here, and sometimes the copper looks like brass. Sometimes it even looks like steel on some people's computers or their phones. So yeah, I have not used steel in a long time. Well, it seems like a long time. I will use also steel for the indirect percussion flakers. So I'm going to be thinning the ends. That's the first thing, always. So I start with the tip as a habit. If I was really smart, I would not start with the tip. I would start with the base, but I tend to start with the tip because I'm less tired at this moment. The less tired I am when working on the tip, the better the tip comes out. But I run the risk of breaking the tips off. Yeah, that's okay. I'll take that risk. Knapping is a skill of risk management. Okay, so I'm managing to take risks. Yeah, but that's not what I mean. I got to make sure that I know the risks, and I try not to be taking too many risks. And the ones that I do take, I got to live with the bad results if I get a bad result. Yeah, I got to be willing to live with the bad result. If I can't live with the bad result, then I can't do it that way. I got to do the way that's annoying or whatever. Drives me nuts. What drives me nuts? Just tedious, same flake over and over again, as an example. Sometimes I should do tedious sequential flaking just because I can use the previous ridge. It's systematic that way. But I'd rather just do it randomly. I just took a big old flake. I'm doing a bunch of random flaking, and it tends to keep my interest steady when I'm doing random flaking. So that this went past halfway. I'm still working on this more rounded side or more convex side and not dealing with this yet. I still haven't dealt with this side yet that has the original dip. I'm going to wait till it gets more narrow. Okay. Apparently, my subconscious is telling me just wait. Do this easy peasy side a little bit more first, and then you can tackle that. This is going to be harder because it's flatter and more nasty. So, but if it's more narrow, it's easier to deal with that type of situation. Okay, because the flakes don't need to travel as far. Long flakes require convexity. If you try to nap across a flat and try to get a long flake, you're asking for trouble because flakes like convexity. They like to be curved. They don't flakes don't like to be flat on most material. Some material, yeah, you can nap with long flat flakes, but not all material. In fact, most material likes curves or convexities. Okay. So I'm going to be doing the easy peasy stuff for now and make it more narrow. Yeah, see, the long flakes like convex surfaces. I couldn't get that long flake on a flat. How do I know? Just from experience. Yeah. The more convex it is, well, up to a point, this appears to be just the right convexity for long flakes. And I don't know what the diameter or the curvature is with numbers. You just go by looks and by feel. Yeah. It's similar between different stones as far as the convexity goes. So you can kind of guess and be in the ballpark. But if they're not traveling, it could be that you've misjudged how convex the surface needs to be. It might need to be more convex than you think. And that usually upsets people because they don't want it to be all that bulgy and thick. I want it thin. Why can't I have a break and get really thin? Why does it always want to be so convex? I don't like reality. Yep, that's the reality. Sometimes the stone you have wants to remain thick to do what you want to do with it, to be nice and well flaked with nice, pretty flake scars. It wants to be really convex. Can't do anything about it except, fuss or break it or fuss and break it. So, yeah, I'm trying to go past halfway with all my strikes. And so far, so good. All right. So, but it's taken me a long time to get to this point where I can expect to do flakes that go more than halfway. It doesn't always work, I don't always get the flake I want, but the more you get used to the stone, the more you can reduce the risk of failure. There's always a risk of failure, but the more you get used to it, more practice, the less failures. Yeah. But it's probabilities. You roll the dice every time you strike. Mm-hmm. And you can get good at rolling dice. I was just watching not long ago how an expert gambler was beating the house with the roulette wheel. The guy operating the roulette wheel, I guess that's called roulette, where you spin the wheel and then you throw a marble into the wheel. and it'll land in a certain number. Well, the guy operating the wheel is the same guy every time usually, and he does that 8 hours a day, 5 days a week for years. He's going to get pretty good at guessing where that number is going to fall, or that marble, what number the marble will fall into, right? So he's going to give the house an advantage. The longer he's been doing this roulette wheel thing, even though it's all kind of by chance, he knows most of the time the range at which that ball will fall, like within 3 slots. So I don't know how they work the roulette rules, but the guy that was describing how he win against the house, he knew this fact that the guy on the roulette wheel knows pretty much after years and years and thousands of throws where this marble is going to land. It's very similar to flint napping. After years of napping, chipping flakes over and over and over and over and over again, you kind of know where it's going to go. You don't know exactly, but you know the range. Now, to beat the house, what the guy would do when just before the fraction of a second before the guy rolled the marble, he would say something. So the guy tossing the marble would lose his concentration. He would ask a question or say something that was, it was legal to say, but he would distract the marble thrower or the roulette operator just as he was throwing the marble, so that it became truly random, and he had a better chance of winning with a truly random throw, and that's how he would beat the house at the roulette wheel. Okay, so moral of the story: after thousands and thousands and thousands of flakes, you kind of know the range at which it will go, where the flakes will go, and the more you get used to this particular stone, just like a roulette wheel, the more you get used to that particular wheel, the better you are at judging what range that marble's going to land in. Okay? Why do I even mention stuff like that? Because I'm trying to figure out how to explain some of this stuff in flint napping. And when I catch anything having to do with probabilities and how people can beat the odds, a lot of times it pertains to flint napping as well. Okay. Just a little side note. Yeah. I don't want side notes. I want precise archaeological statements. Yeah, I don't have any precise archaeological statements. Besides, most of those are just regurgitated anyway. They're just repeating what they heard before. They don't test it out. Yeah. It's a reliable, authoritative source, so shut up. Yeah. That's what you think. But you're just going by what everyone thinks is an authority. And they might be, but sometimes they're not. Sometimes, they've been regurgitating this stuff their whole life too, and there's some things that have not been tested. And then they come up with these little explanations. Yeah, and then people regurgitate these explanations that are not tested. Anyways, I gotta kind of focus on these next flakes. These are very important. I don't want to have too many distractions. I'm like the guy on the roulette wheel that I can't be distracted if I want to try to predict where these flakes are going to go. Can't always predict, but I can get within a range. Yeah. As long as it's within the range I'm thinking, it'll work. And you can see it better on a first person view, but hopefully you'll be able to see at least a little bit of something that might benefit you. Maybe, maybe not. This is actually napping pretty well. I'm having some difficulty with the lighting, as usual. I'm not going to fuss too much about that. Mainly what I'm having difficulty with is it's new material for me. It's acting like a heat treat, but it's still a little bit unpredictable. Usually a heat treat is predictable because the material is consistent or more consistent than raw. Heat treating levels out and kind of makes everything easier, brings everything to a pretty much a baseline of the same consistency, but not always. But I'm working with the assumption that it's going to be consistent, so it's going to be consistent. So I've got to try to keep that in mind with this final thinning. I can't be experimenting, in other words. I've got to plan these well and take into account how this is feeling as I'm napping it. And not being all scatterbrained and forgetting what I just learned. If I'm mixing it up with the dialogue, it's not as clear as if I'm focusing only on the napping. Yeah. And it becomes more and more important as it gets thinner and thinner. The focus. And if you're not able to focus at the final stages, if you find yourself being too tired and you just can't focus, you got to put it down, take a break. Even if it breaks your mojo, it's better to break the mojo and come back and try to reestablish the mojo than to snap it in half. All right, so the secondary thinning is done. I left the base a little bit thick. Yeah, that's a habit of mine. I tend to do that by default because some points are actually thicker at the base. But if I wanted to do it better, I would also taper the space down a lot more so that it reduces the risk of snapping in half. But I've been known to snap it in half, yeah. So I also ran flakes across that surface that was the original surface that had a dip in it. I'm leaving that dip there. That portion of the dip, I'm not going to run flakes off into it. I'm not going to run flakes into there. I'm just going to leave it that way. And it kind of looks like a flake itself now. Okay? It'll get way too thin if I try to eliminate that surface. So this is thin enough. What is the ratio and what is the size? I don't know. But I'll give you the ratio because that's what's important. Let's see. It's 37 by 5, maybe 6. It ranges between 5 and 6. So 6-1 to 7-1, somewhere in that range. Because it's still a little bit wonky. See how it's not perfectly level or perfectly smooth. It's got some wonking. So it ranges between 6-1 and 7-1, which is pretty good because it's pretty good. I didn't think it was going to be that thin. And it's because of the heat treatment compared to the other one. What is the ratio on the other one? Did I measure the ratio? But the one that's raw is thicker. And I was basically trying to nap them both as thin as I could. All right, can you see? There might be the same thickness, but the ratio is different because the heat treat is wider. I can run long flakes on the heat treat more easily than running long flakes on this one. See, most of these flakes go to just barely past center, whereas these go clear across. See, they go clear across the center. Okay, so I'm going to get back into the chat. All right, so that was good. I enjoyed this Horse Creek here. Actually, it was very cooperative. This one not so much because it got crackly, but I was able to remove the bad areas. So yeah, both of them turned up okay. All righty, and I didn't break it. Yes. Where am I? Hey, there I am. Okay, hold on. I think I got some flakes in my face. All right, so where am I on the chat? We got 24 people watching. All right, so I'm going to try to wrap up. Oh, dang. It's only 2 minutes left. I was not watching it. Okay. Hey, Sal is here. Patrick says my mojo is broke. All right. You guys are guessing the angles. For those of you who don't know, these little like 37.5, 26.5, 30, 32.766. That's inside joke stuff. Ed Gould says, I guess I'm really late again. Yeah, good guess, Ed. You got 1 minute left in the live stream. That's so funny. I'll stay a little bit over just so you can have 5 minutes of joy. Ed, you're funny. Okay. Let's see. So who else is in the house that I missed? So Sal is in the house. Mike Mason is here. Let's see. All righty. Yeah, I was napping Horse Creek. Both these pieces are Horse Creek chert. One is heat treat, and the other one feels raw, although it could be lightly heat treated. Although I think I can't. It's possible that this could be Buffalo River raw. I don't know. I think it's Horse Creek. But this one definitely is Horse Creek. Okay, very nice looking material as well as nice napping material. Nice to nap. I don't think this, well, I can't know for sure. I don't think that was Buffalo River. I think if I heat treat this, the colors will become more pronounced and deeper and richer. All right, so I think I'll end the chat here in a minute. Let's see, any questions? Luis and Skunk update. Luis comes around a lot more now. Yeah. Early morning and late at night. So she's hanging around here all day. Yeah. It seems like she hardly ever goes to her house. Yeah, I leave the food out. I have an update video on the skunks, and I think I can hear one on the front porch. I mean, right next to the door because I left the cat food out. Right? Yeah, it's still outside. So there's probably one on the porch, right in front of the door, But I've got an update video where I show Muddy. I think Muddy's back, but she's really fat now, and a new one that I don't know where that one came from. Yeah, there's one on the porch right now. I can hear them messing with the bowl of cat food. Let's see. And the baby ones, the little ones, they don't come around as much. Well, they might be coming around later at night, but they used to come out when it was still the sun was still out. But I haven't seen those little ones. I haven't seen Jumpy's little babies. She had 6. Jumpy had 6 kits, I guess they call them, in her litter. And there's 3 of them that come around, and probably a few more from other litters. Most of the activity happens after I go to bed. But I can update you on what I see before that time. All right, so so someone, oh, Damon Crowfeather's here. What's up? I've been watching. Nice stone. Cool. Awesome. Patrick's flower bed must be a nice place for Louise to take a dump. I don't know where she takes a dump. I think she takes it up on a hill somewhere because I don't see it anywhere. She doesn't get into the flower bed. I don't know where she's doing her business. That's an interesting thing. The skunks will do it all over the place, or they leave their scat around where they're eating. It's like a ring of scat, and then I guess they I don't know why they do that. It has to be for smell. They can recognize their own scent. I see them using their nose to get back up here from the street. They'll walk down the sidewalk and they'll come up here, but they'll use their nose to get up into the area where the cat food usually is. So I guess they're sniffing previous trails up to the house. I do have one flower bed or a raised bed, but it's full of stuff. It's got wild cucumber, pumpkin, some flowers. It's got I put in some flowers. I didn't know what they were. It was just from a starter, little seedling starter thing. I just stuck it in there. End up growing into a batch of flowers. And then there is chives and garlic. No, I took the garlic out. It must just be chives. And then I ripped out all the dill and the something else was there. So now there's morning glories. Wild cucumbers, morning glories. I got some strawberries growing, but they're getting all eaten up by bugs. And then I think that's it. Pumpkin, chives, flowers, morning glories, wild cucumber, strawberry. That's it. Why do I mention that? I don't know. Damon Crowfeather says the skunks here live in holes in the ground, cute but nervous. Yeah, there's some dens on the hill. There's at least 2 skunk dens back there, but they come from the street, from the front yard. They don't come from the backyard normally when I'm watching them. Although in wintertime I can tell where they're coming from because they leave their tracks and they leave a trail of mud up to their den. So I can tell how many dens are active in the winter. I just don't know how many dens are active right now. All right, so I'm going to call it a night and get back to the auction. I'm going to announce the winners at 9:01. I'll start announcing winners at 9:01 p.m. Eastern. Okay, so if there's no questions, no comments or complaints, I'm going to say goodnight. Okay? Yep, everyone say goodbye. And good night. Good evening, goodbye, and good night. Alrighty, we'll see you on the next video. The next live stream is Wednesday. 2 more days from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Okay? First hour is chat, second hour is napping, in case you're new on every live stream. Okay? I have live streams 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, at different times of the day. Fridays is 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern. All right. Ed Gould says, shake it easy. All right, everybody. Thank you. Thank you. Good to see you. We'll see you next time. All right. Bye-bye.